What's up, wrestling fans, and welcome to another Pay-Per-Viewpoint edition of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast. This is the WWE Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2017 predictions breakdown, where we are going to be talking about our spoilers for the pay-per-view, our thoughts on what's going to happen, and kind of just general thoughts about the event itself. My name is Tony Mango, as always, and sometimes it isn't, it kind of depends on the paperwork. I am joined with Callum Wiggins.
TLC, Tender Loving Care. I think that's what it stands for, right?
I think it's Tender Loving Chairs.
Ah, okay.
And Stairs.
Got it slightly wrong.
And Kaylin Ferris as well.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Just stick to
we're
the
talking about that
TLC,
right?
You're used to.
Yeah, there you go.
The Weird Al version's better. Actually, no, I like the other version better. But is that weird? Side note, how sometimes the Weird Al version actually is better.
Yeah, I think so. I prefer Amish Paradise.
I prefer Gangsters, but you know what? American Pie versus the the Saga Begins.
The Saga Begins, yeah.
I prefer the Saga Begins.
Yeah, I can't help but hear that one when I hear the original now.
Especially the line, "In the Jedi I admire most. Met up with Darth Maul and now he's toast." Anyway.
So that concludes our Weird Al podcast.
Yeah, that's it. All right. If you want to hit the subscribe button and follow Harvey the Wonder Hamster, then you can go ahead and do that. Obviously, I sound like shit still, and it's partially because of sinuses, and it's partially because this card is shit. This is one of the worst pay-per-view build-ups and cards in general that we've gotten the entire year. None of us are excited about this pay-per-view because it's a one-match card.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. One-match card. It's called, the pay-per-view's called TLC because, we have a TLC match. We also have a tables match. We have a ladders match. We have a chairs match. Oh, wait, no, there's only one.
As much as I hate the chairs match and the idea of doing a ladder match and then doing a TLC match because they're the same goddamn fucking thing, WWE, I just, even more so than ever, hate this pay-per-view.
Yes, thank you. Get rid of it already.
They really need to get rid of it. The TLC match itself was only a one-time thing. It should have only been a variation of a ladder match, just in the sense of you've got these three tag teams, and their specialties are tables, ladders, and chairs. So let's kind of play off the TLC idea, a Tender Love and Care, and let's make it a fun, well, look at that, it's TLC instead. Should have been a one-time feud, and that's it. Never should have been a pay-per-view. Never should have been a recurring gimmick or anything like that. This should be a regular pay-per-view. This should be something like Over the Limit, or Breaking Point, or Vengeance, or fucking make up another one. You know what I mean? This should not be TLC. And there's nothing on the card, too, that specifies anything that should make this TLC. We were talking about with Hell in a Cell, that none of the feuds actually warranted Hell in a Cell, except for maybe the tag team title match, but that's stretching it too. This is even the TLC match is not even something that seems like it should be a TLC match. There's nothing that proves that it should be a TLC match instead of a normal match. And that too, I mean, for a one-match card, that one match is so sloppily put together.
Yeah.
Yep.
It makes no sense.
None of it makes sense because, even with this TLC match, it's not like there's anything hanging above for them to claim, which is the main thing of a ladder match.
Yeah, I don't understand what they're supposed to be getting in the TLC match. Is it going to be pinfalls? Because if it's pinfalls, it's a hardcore match.
Yep.
Yeah.
This makes no sense at all. I don't understand this fucking pay-per-view.
They should make the Finn Balor Bray Wyatt match a ladder match, and so it's the first one to try and catch their dignity.
Well, then neither of them's going to win.
Exactly. We all lose.
This pay-per-view, though, if you look at this card, for being a one-match card and that one match struggling, the rest of it is so blah. Let's start off with the kickoff stuff. We have two things that they've said ahead of time, and there's going to be a running theme throughout this pay-per-view of this only would have happened in a card like this where they're stretching. Because we've got Alicia Fox versus Sasha Banks is the match. I don't think Alicia Fox and Sasha Banks give a shit about this match, let alone anybody watching.
We just saw it on Raw. Like, so basically the build for this match is neither of these two have anything going on themselves. So they have a match on Raw. Alicia Fox loses and then attacks Sasha Banks backstage, and now they've got a match on the kickoff show. That's all there is to it. The only interesting caveat to this is that Alicia Fox has a new shirt, which is absolutely terrible.
I haven't seen the shirt yet.
It's just a fox, just a female fox, like
which is called a vixen.
Yeah,
crazy like a fox.
Yeah,
what it is. Authentic one. T-shirt. Let's see. Oh, it's like one of those things that people on DeviantArt like to jack off over. Did you ever notice that? You go on DeviantArt and you just browse like whatever the most recent thing is and stuff. So many people do these anthropomorphized fox people, and they're all like trying to pose in like these like sexy poses and like with like giant tits and stuff. And it's like, what the hell's wrong with all you people? Those are animals. Do you really want to fuck animals? Crazy fucks.
It's called furries, Tony. Don't kink shame. Come on, man.
Well, that's not, is that technically being a furry? Because isn't that dressing up?
No, I don't really look too much into the actual.
Yeah, I don't want to Google too much of it because I don't want to see pictures of these people. But like,
if you don't like that, Tony, you want to avoid like Rule 34 and stuff like that. Then it starts getting really weird.
Well, Rule 34 can be great, at least for jokes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some sick fuckers out there. Alicia Fox is hot though. I'll give it to her. Fox and Banks, though, I mean, you flip a coin. Who gives a shit who wins, right? Like, this doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I'd like Alicia Fox to win. She never fucking wins.
That'd make it slightly interesting. That's the only interesting thing that you can probably get out of watching this match is Alicia Fox actually going to win a match?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many singles matches do you think she's won on TV or pay-per-view in the last 3 years?
You know what? I'm going to look that up. Because why not, right?
Oh, hang on, guys.
Plug for Cage Match.
She's a former Divas champion. She should be taken seriously.
Did she win it once or twice?
She won it once in 2008.
Oh boy!
It's been nearly 10 years since she last held a title. Yeah, she's still there, and she's still not even like one of the oldest divas there. Like, it's ridiculous that she's been there that long and just hasn't really got anything out of it.
So, looking on the match statistics on Cage Match, she has had 1 draw, 321 wins, and 601 losses. So she's almost batting 50-50 a little bit.
She's almost had 1,000 matches.
923 according to them.
God.
And let's see.
And
her
I can't remember
win.
I can't remember a single one off the top of my head.
I know, right?
You can't remember that, was it Melina and Alicia Fox? Was that match or?
Oh, that was the match of Cameron.
Yeah. That classic, the best match ever.
Yeah. Mm.
So it looks like the last match that Alicia Fox won was she and Mickie James beat Emma and Nia Jax at a live event on August 27th.
Like I said, singles match.
Let's see, singles match. She beat Sasha Banks on Raw.
Well, yeah.
May 15th.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that was leading to another match they had on a kickoff show a couple of weeks after, I think.
Yeah, because the week before that,
classic.
Yeah, the week before that, Sasha beat Alicia, DO2 in London on Raw. So apparently, it's just every couple of months, these two have a series of 3 matches where one wins, the other one wins, and then they have a kickoff.
Oh yeah,
I was going to say, I think the only thing that Alicia Fox has done in the last 2 years that I liked was when she was flipping out on Nia Jax backstage and actually like hit her in the face with a tissue box or something.
Yeah, they looked all scared.
Broke character for a second. I like that, but other than that, she hasn't really done much for me in the last couple of years.
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day, I don't remember where it was. Actually, I think it was a Bleacher Report article. Asked like what you can do for Alicia Fox in the future and like how can she really kind of like, I don't know, like get like more out of her career kind of a thing. And it's like, she really can't at this point. Like, I like Alicia Fox. I think she's got more of an upside than a lot of other people think, but she's peaked. And if we're talking about, like, it would be nice if she won some random ass kickoff thing that doesn't matter, but we probably don't necessarily think that's going to happen. If that's the way that your career has been, it's not looking that great. So at least, like, give her this win. She deserves it. She's got a shirt. The shirt's ugly. The only people that'll buy it are people from DeviantArt. So go ahead and, give her the W at least once.
Well, good for her for at least still having a job, though.
Yeah, and now a shirt as well.
The other thing I'm most, this is what's sad about it. I'm more interested in this thing than I am almost anything else on the card, which is that they advertised it for the kickoff. Drew Gulak's PowerPoint presentation is coming back. I fucking love it. I think it's great that he's like, we're going to continue my PowerPoint presentation. It's like, yeah!
I've seen quite a lot of cult following for it. It's like one of these things like the Fashion Files or something along those lines where
it's so
really
dumb.
Yeah, it's really like dumb and stupid, but because everything else is so bad, you just like gravitate towards it because at least it has a few laughs in it.
Drew Gulak, no joke, he might be my choice for the most improved of the year. When we do like the end of the year awards, because this dude at the beginning of the whole Cruiserweight Classic, I was just kind of like, who's this fucking Drew Gulak? Drew Gulak, awful fucking name. And he looked weird, and he had like that like outfit that was strange.
You remember when he used to come to the ring just as a knight?
Yeah, I hated that. And I didn't like his beard and his name and his character or anything like that. But oddly enough, like, he switched over to this like Trump kind of thing, and it's been great. Like, he's one of the better people on the microphone than they have on 205 Live and such. And this PowerPoint thing's just funny. Like, I find myself rooting for him over Akira Tozawa.
So do you think this whole thing is just he's gonna be doing the PowerPoint for a couple of minutes, and then Tozawa's gonna come out and attack him, and that's kind of it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I can see that.
I'm sure it'll be good for like just a couple of laughs. I mean, it's better than just watching people on the panel just talk aimlessly about stuff that we already know is going to happen.
What I would love to see, because he says it's something like 277 parts of the presentation. I'd love to see the kickoff start like 7 o'clock on the dot. Start with him heading to the ring, and he does the PowerPoint presentation for the entire kickoff. I would love to see that, where he's just gonna like number 185. No, whatever. Yeah, armbar.
Wait, wrong thing.
So yeah, I'm looking forward more to that than almost anything else in the card, which is really, really sad, because that's another thing that would never, ever, ever happen on a normal card.
Mm-hmm.
But continue.
I was going to say, there's quite a lot of love for the Cruiserweights on this card, which kind of is an indication that things are being stretched out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they never give a second Cruiserweight match unless they have to. And the same thing for the women, too. We have 3 women's matches on this card.
Yeah. Wow.
3 women's matches, 2 Cruiserweight matches, and 1 Cruiserweight talking segment.
Yeah.
And that's not including,
I didn't realize that. Wow.
And that's not including the 10 minutes that Enzo's going to be talking on the microphone leading up to his match as well. So.
And we don't have the Universal title on the line, the Raw Tag Team titles, or the Intercontinental title on the line.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So one of those other Cruiserweight matches is the Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher and the Brian Kendrick. And they've done their best to try to give this like little bit of tenacity behind it, but I like all 4 of the guys. I think they all have something to offer. Rich Swann's my least favorite of the bunch, but I don't necessarily care. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, this would have been the pre-show match, maybe.
I agree.
And it wouldn't have mattered either. Nothing's on the line. Nothing's like really going to stand out. Like, it should be a decent match. So as far as like the card itself, this is probably going to be one of the better matches of the night, but it's still not going to matter. Nobody's going to remember this in a month, you know?
No. I mean, I'm sure we've seen variations of this match on a mixture of 205 Live on Raw and on Raw leading up to this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we haven't seen this type of match before, which is just like a random cruiserweight match, which has really no story development behind it. I mean, the heel turn by Jack Gallagher was slightly interesting, and his corruption by Brian Kendrick, but it's really not that interesting. I think a lot of that lies in the fact that, like, even though I think he's a terrific athlete, Cedric Alexander is really, really bland.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got no reason. I've never been given any reason to cheer from him ever since he lost that match at the Cruiserweight Classic to Kota Ibushi. Ever since then, it's just been, okay, so you're here and you're good in the ring, but why do I care?
Yeah, it's a shame that he doesn't have the charisma of somebody like a Drew Gulak, because then he would end up being a pretty big star. And I still think that Cedric's going to win that title at some point in 2018. But yeah, it's kind of hard to really sink your teeth into this feud when it's like Gallagher's got some charisma to him, Kendrick's got some, and Swann doesn't really, but he has more than Alexander does. But it's mostly just sort of like the four people fighting over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Callum, you said something very important at the end of your last statement. You're like, why would I care? Which kind of sums up the whole pay-per-view for me.
Yeah.
That's quite odd, me saying something important. I'll cherish this moment.
So who are you guys going for? I'm assuming Gallagher and Kendrick.
Hopefully. Yeah, sure, I'll go with that.
I think it's the more interesting story to see them develop a little bit more as a team.
We have the other Cruiserweight match on the card is for the Cruiserweight Championship. Kalisto defending against Enzo Amore. 100% going Enzo here. 100%.
You think?
Yep. I can't imagine any scenario. Look at the trend of this year with switching titles around. They've been very much stuck in this mentality of put the title on somebody momentarily to get people to talk. We got...
God, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Styles drops it to Cena, who drops it quickly to Bray Wyatt, who drops it to Orton, who doesn't last too long before dropping it to Jinder. Owens drops it to Goldberg, who lasts a month and drops it to Lesnar. Miz drops it to Ambrose, drops it to Miz. The United States title. Reigns, Jericho, Owens, Styles, Corbin. That's insane.
Yeah.
The Cruiserweight title itself went from Swann to Neville, who held it for a long while, dropped it for, 4 days to Akira Tozawa, got it back, dropped it to Enzo, who dropped it within a couple weeks to Kalisto. We had the whole switch over Alexa to Sasha to Alexa. We had really a couple different tag team title switches, mostly in the SmackDown side of things, where Usos, New Day, Usos.
Yeah.
So they really have been stuck with this idea of just put a title on somebody and that'll get people to talk for a week. So I think that Kalisto is just a temporary champion. And especially if we've got this whole thing going out with Neville, that originally he was supposed to wrestle that match and they were like, well, we don't know what else to do. And it's like, they went into panic mode, I think.
Here's what I think.
You've convinced me. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's what I think happened. I think Neville was originally supposed to have that match with Enzo Amore. That was supposed to be the lumberjack match, and if reports are to be believed, Amore was supposed to go over, so Neville left. And so they decided to put Kalisto in the match, and probably to maybe even stick it to Neville, saying, oh, okay, so you're going to walk out, so we'll just give the title to Kalisto instead. And so they decided to, usually when they do this type of thing where they replace the original competitor, they give that replacement the win.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to give Kalisto the win, and then they're just going to give the title back to Enzo because that's their original plan.
Yeah, it's 100% what I think it is.
I think you're right, too, because otherwise, what are they going to do with Enzo right now? I mean, he's just going to come out and, talk garbage. And, I mean, at least now he does have a little bit of a crew behind him, which doesn't make sense either because he was just running him down, a week ago or something. But yeah. I think with Enzo, I think it's probably the smarter move to put the title back on him right now.
It's smart to keep any title away from Kalisto because he brings a giant charisma vacuum to anything that he's really part of.
That's true. Yeah,
he's good again. Another person who's good in the ring, but he's just been so watered down for years and years. Like ever since they had to revert his entrance thing back to the Lucha Dragons one because his new theme was just. This is the only way to get people to do anything for him during his matches, chant Lucha during his matches. So
they changed his theme again. I didn't even notice.
They changed it back.
Yeah, when he came up for the title match, it was back to the Lucha Dragons one.
It's not that like kind of like annoying surferish song anymore.
I think they changed it back to just the Lucha Dragons one.
Huh. I gotta pay attention to that. I didn't notice.
Well, I kind of noticed because I hated his old one, hated the one that they changed it to, so.
Yeah, Kalisto is one of those guys that, like, I don't know, like, he's got something to offer. That's for sure.
Yeah, I like him. He does a good lucha thing, but he's just not very good in promos.
I just don't, I think people are putting too much emphasis on the fact that it seems like they're trying to make him the next Rey Mysterio, and he just doesn't have that. I mean, say what you want about Ray, and Ray did have his faults, but he at least was charismatic for a time, and he did have something about him that he developed over the first couple of years when he was in WWE that he carried on that he could kind of like ride on for the rest of his career.
And I also don't like how they kind of try to push him by him name dropping Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, I was really
like, hey guys, you like those guys, so you should like me too.
I was really uncomfortable with that stuff because I think, again, I think when he won the title, it was around about the anniversary of Eddie Guerrero's death as well. So trying to force that into it as well. It was quite interesting that I had like the celebration for the Hispanic month and they didn't mention Eddie Guerrero at all. And it took Kalisto to actually bring him up at any point in time. Instead, they decided to focus on people like Shakira.
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez. That was really strange.
Yeah.
By the way, I showed Caroline that Good Lucha thing promo the other day, and she was just like, she's practically in tears laughing, and she's just like, oh, I feel so bad for him. Oh, my God. Because right afterward, you hear him go, God damn it. I forgot that he did that. I was like, this is so good. Kalisto's a guy, though, like, I didn't like the whole, like, I did this for Eddie type of thing, and I really hate it when they do that with Sasha. That's really strange. But I like him, but I don't. It's sort of weird. It's like, I kind of wish that you could take, like, and this is sort of like generalizing and like amalgamation that really shouldn't ever take place kind of a thing. But like, if you could take the good aspects of Kalisto, Sin Cara, Grand Metalik, and Lince Dorado and make them all just like one real good luchador. None of them are good on the mic. That's the bad thing. And they all have different like moves that they can do. So that's the thing is like if you at least had all the moves that they can do, I think that would get one guy over. But on their own, none of them are really making that much of a splash. None of them are Rey Mysterio. No. And Kalisto, he's had his 2 United States title reigns. He had his NXT tag team title reign. But this Cruiserweight one, I think, is just temporary. I think Enzo is very clearly their priority. And I can see Kalisto losing through some kind of cheating. So that way it kind of keeps him a little bit, like, not crapped on. But
that's what I'm guessing. I would be very surprised if Enzo won clean with no interference or anything.
Nah, Enzo wins, and I think he drops it to Cedric down the line. I think there's a reason why they did that whole thing with Enzo winning that number 1 contenders match after Cedric beat everybody, essentially. I think that they know it's Cedric versus Enzo later.
I hope so, and Enzo will be able to carry that feud on the microphone at least. So
yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that they never did anything Enzo and Gallagher. Like they turned both of them around the same time.
I mean, I don't know why. I think it could have worked. I think it would have worked better if Gallagher was the babyface and Enzo was the heel, though. So if they decided to turn one of them, then If they decided to turn Gallagher, then there probably was no chance of them feuding, really.
So are we all going Enzo?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going Enzo.
Zo show's coming back on Monday night. Well, Tuesday night, technically. Yeah. Let's talk about this again. Remember the last time that you've seen Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt?
Have they wrestled before? Have they done a program? I don't remember.
I don't know. Technically, maybe they didn't, because technically it's always been the Demon and the whatever and the
man versus man.
I've kind of forgotten, because every time I see one of them on screen, I immediately just switch off at this point.
I'm so sick and tired of it. I'll give them credit. The idea of Bray Wyatt being possessed by Sister Abigail is the most interesting thing that they've done in this entire feud.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean I still am interested, because I was sick and tired of this feud by the second match, because Finn Balor has no charisma to me. The more and more I see of him, the less and less I like Finn Balor.
Yeah, I think this is the most damning thing of this entire feud is that obviously a lot of people will be bringing out the fact that Bray Wyatt's always involved in these really death feuds and stuff along those lines. Finn Balor has been hopelessly bad in every aspect of this feud. And I think some of the material he's been working with clearly isn't helping him. Some of the stuff that he's been given to talk about how he knows what he needs to do to combat this evil force, and talking about the demons being real in his mind and stuff along those lines. But his delivery is atrocious.
It's just pretty much like, but I have a demon.
Yeah.
And
I just get less and less interested every time they fight. And it just gets more and more comical. And it's not, I don't think it's intentionally supposed to be comical.
No.
I think it's supposed to be spooky and creepy and intriguing. But it's just, it makes me, I don't know, facepalm, you know? I shake my head. I'm like, what are they thinking?
I think in their mind, this is like Undertaker Mankind. Like, whoa, this is so crazy. Whoa, shit, he's the demon and he's fucking Sister Abigail. We got this cross-dresser versus what? And it's like, nah, it's fucking Prince Devitt against Husky Harris.
Yeah.
Prince Pumpkin Devitt, yeah.
Put it this way, has this feud ever has helped people believe that Finn Balor could probably be world champion again one day?
Let's put it this way. Even not necessarily just world champion in general, is this feud really going to set up that Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar match that we're talking about?
I know, right?
You mean to tell me that Finn Balor is going to put up some kind of a fight against Brock Lesnar? Finn Balor's like a third his size, and he's struggling with Bray Wyatt, and this feud is garbage, and it's just... It is more interesting than something like the Alicia Fox-Sasha Banks match, just because of the Sister Abigail thing. But, God, this is what, their fifth match, I think? And this is why I hate the brand split, because they do drag this stuff out. If this wasn't a brand split, this would have been a 2-match thing, and that's it. You would have had one match of Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt, and then another match where he's like, I'm going to bring the demon, and that's it. End of the feud. That's all you needed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can either of you guys think of a feud that's actually been like worse than this one this year? Because this is leading in terms of like nominations for awards for this year. This is definitely my worst feud so far.
It definitely feels like the longest one.
Yeah, I mean in terms of like, there've been other ones that've probably been worse segments, like really like terrible segments, but this one has been consistently bad and has been dragged on so long. I mean, their first match was on the Raw before SummerSlam, I think.
So I have 3 other things listed down right now as worst storyline of the year. And I might be forgetting something along the way, because one of them, all 3 of them are kind of older. But I have Rusev and Cena / Orton following the shakeup. Just pretty much anything Rusev has done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have Mojo Rawley winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, feuding with Jinder Mahal and doing nothing.
Yeah.
And what probably is going to be my pick for worst storyline of the year, Emelina.
Yeah, they're all pretty worthy winners. I just kind of think those things, except for the Emelina one, obviously, they're a bit like, okay, it's really bad, but at least it was over in a couple of weeks, and then we
exactly
can
the
move on with
Emelina
it.
thing. While it did last months and months of just promos, there were semi-short promos. If you add them all up, it wasn't really that long. With Balor and Wyatt, this has just lasted forever. How much time do we have to watch with their promos and their matches? And I like both the guys, but I just don't like what they're doing with this program.
Oh, you know what? I need to add Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, that's Well, that'll probably be second for me.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
It's for me it's those two, and it's Bliss versus Bayley at the moment is my ones.
I think I had that listed as something else. Yeah, I have that listed down as worst moment of the year.
Oh yeah,
along with Emelina. John Cena proposes to Nikki Bella, the House of Horrors match.
Yeah. God, 2017 has been terrible, and this is like the cherry on top of the shit cake that we've got going on.
And I remember at the end of 2016 going, man, 2016 was rough, but 2017, there's a chance. Nah.
Okay, so we know that Finn Balor's going to come out as the Demon. What do we think? How is Bray Wyatt going to come out? Is it going to be Bray Wyatt coming out with the shawl and in drag, or what are we expecting here?
I think he's going to do something like that, like wear like some kind of raggedy clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, yeah. I'd imagine some sort of like dress type thing. It'd be weird if he was wearing a dress, but
I saw people proposing different ideas, and somebody says, "Oh, maybe it's going to be somebody else." And people are saying, "Well, Paige is back in the Performance Center. Maybe it'll be Paige as Sister Abigail." I'm like, probably not. I don't think that would work. And then Angie, the other day we were talking, came up with an idea. She was like, "What if Sister Abigail is Bo Dallas?" And that's why he hasn't been on TV for a while.
I would laugh my ass off.
Yeah. I would completely reverse everything negative I said about this feud if it just leads to Bo Dallas being revealed as actually Bray Wyatt's sister.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
You know what? Do it.
Yeah.
I know, right?
What's the worst that could happen, right? This feud sucks.
Because you see Sister Abigail appear, but then you see Bray Wyatt appear too. You're like, wait, that's not Bray Wyatt in the costume.
So who do you guys think is going to end up winning? To me, it's another flip a coin.
Yeah, I don't know. I think in order to make Balor look strong, if he is going to go into a program with Brock Lesnar, you got to have Balor go over. But why would they reveal the Sister Abigail thing now just to have Sister Abigail lose? So I don't know. I think they both kind of need the win based on the story they've been telling.
Yeah, because either way this is going to end up is that the Demon is either going to lose, which kind of takes away the aura of the Demon being the thing that Finn Balor turns to when things are at its toughest. Mm-hmm. Or Sister Abigail is going to lose, which means that what was the point of having the Sister Abigail thing in the first place?
Oh, you know what they're going to do? Since neither of them can really lose, it'll be a no contest, and we'll continue the feud for another month.
And then they'll do another man versus man, so that way when one of them loses, it's not the character that loses. Ugh.
Yeah. Or they'll do like a Survivor Series elimination match where they both, it's basically 1-on-1, but you eliminate each persona one by one.
Yeah, I like it.
You know what I'd like to see come out of this? I don't think that this is anywhere close to on their schedule, but I'd like to see it be the only thing left that's interesting. Do some kind of a thing where Finn Balor wins, and he takes Bray Wyatt / Sister Abigail away into the backstage area. Because we've seen Bray Wyatt do that to people. We've seen Kane and we've seen Undertaker and such. But we've never seen a babyface do that. And for us to be like, oh, that's weird. What's happening like that? And then over the next couple of weeks, have Balor cut these promos that talks about like the Demon's here to cleanse Raw, like blah, 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 blah. And bring Bray Wyatt back, and he's completely not Bray Wyatt anymore. That he's basically gone through an exorcism, and Sister Abigail is no longer controlling him. And then he's a babyface.
Interesting.
That babyface Bray Wyatt, he's no longer wearing the same outfit anymore. He's got a refreshed kind of mentality for the Royal Rumble and such. And you could start a feud with God knows who, or you throw him in the fucking Battle Royal, who cares? But, like, that'd be kind of interesting, I think, to see babyface Bray Wyatt, where he's not cutting the same promos anymore. He's not doing the mysticism thing. He's just sort of like, kind of like what they did with Festus, where it was like, let's take him off his meds and now he can talk. Let's take him out of the whole darkness kind of thing and make him be like, hell, make him do the opposite. Make him be like, now I've seen the light, like that kind of thing or something like that. And then maybe he starts fucking crapping out and going all crazy again in another year or something like that. But I'd like to see that as the only thing that's left to do that's interesting. Except Bo Dallas in drag. But it'll probably be fucking Sister Abigail winning, and then they'll just continue their feud.
Yeah.
That's going to be weird if they refer to him as Sister Abigail throughout the match instead of Bray Wyatt. And it's like, Sister Abigail hits the Sister Abigail.
Now, do we think that there's going to be some kind of, I think, some kind of spooky, like sci-fi, like special effects or something, or, you know, some kind of smoke or hologram, or, you know, like with the projection on the mat that they did at WrestleMania, there's going to be some kind of hocus pocus going on in this one. What? Any guess what that's going to be?
I imagine there's going to be something where either Bray Wyatt constantly changes between Sister Abigail and himself. Where I don't know how they're going to do it, but just constantly change his appearance. So at one point he's wrestling as Sister Abigail, and then the lights go dark, and then he's wrestling as Bray Wyatt, and then just like something along those lines.
It's going to be stupid.
It's going to be stupid, whatever.
Yeah, no matter what they do, it's going to be dumb. It'd be one of those things where if I was a kid, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Some 6-year-old Tony would be like, "Oh, Sister Abigail, that's crazy, that's awesome." 20 something years later, it's like, yeah, I know how they're doing this shit. Like,
I think we've given this match far more attention than it deserves for what they've given us.
Right.
Well, we needed to talk about it, at least to the point where it felt like it was as long as the feud.
Yeah.
So we're going to have another 3 hours of this podcast just talking about this.
I was going to say, I've had more fun venting my frustration about the match than the actual feud itself.
Yeah.
And I think all of us, including myself with my fucking sinus issues, are all better talkers than Finn Balor. Poor guy. Go have a pint on me. We have 2 women's matches other than the kickoff one that are on the card, and they're at least somewhat tied to each other in one capacity. I'm working under the assumption here that this is a guarantee that Alexa Bliss retains against Mickie James for the Raw Women's Championship, because there is nobody who's going to beat her for that title other than Asuka. And Asuka, of course, is going to utterly decimate Emma. It might as well be a 3-minute squash.
I agree.
Yeah, I think both those results sound about right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not imagining the match is going to be a 3-minute squash. It should be, just to make Asuka give her the best starting third they possibly can. But Asuka versus Emma is actually, like, it's one of my favourite women's matches I've ever seen, was their TakeOver London match. So I'm actually hoping this one actually goes long. Just for my own selfish needs. I know realistically it's better for the story for Asuka to completely dominate her, but just for my own benefit to see a decent match on this show.
Well, I'm hoping it's not a squash, because squash matches don't mean as much to me unless it's something where it's specifically the speed of it that's interesting. Like, or, excuse me, like when Ryback used to beat like 3 people at a time, like that was fun. But when you make a debut and you win in like a minute flat, I don't think it resonates too much with the crowd as much as if you just had a really good match. So I'd like to see them have a legitimate match. But
I agree.
No matter what, it still boils down to Asuka's whooping the shit out of Emma.
I would say that of all matches on this card, this is the one that I'm most confident about picking the winner.
Yeah.
The Asuka one?
Because if it's the opposite, then I don't know what they'd be thinking at that point. They might as well just say, okay, we really just don't know what we're doing anymore.
So she's been undefeated up until now in the company. She's going to face Emma at TLC. She's not going to lose.
No.
Come on.
No, it's impossible.
No. I'd imagine like Triple H would rather kill Vince McMahon than have that match.
I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, they've fucked up things before, but there's absolutely no reason for Asuka to lose.
This would be like it would set the record for the quickest fuck up in history if they had Asuka lose this match.
You know, there's part of me though that like, if it were to happen, I wouldn't be so utterly shocked that they would have the mentality of going like, how crazy would it be if like Asuka comes here and everybody expects her to win and she loses and you know, then she has to go on this like revenge tour to prove herself and that'll boost Emma. Like that, it's not gonna happen. But
no,
yeah, you're right that it isn't completely impossible.
No, that's the most, well, even though as I agree with Caitlin that this is probably the easiest match to predict, the only intrigue surrounding it is the utter terror that I'm feeling of the fact that maybe Asuka loses this match. I'm not saying that because I think Asuka's the greatest thing that's ever walked through WWE, but she does have the potential to be one of the biggest women's stars for the next couple of years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd hate to see it disappear in one match.
Especially against Emma.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen what they did with Bayley, and people thought, oh, they can never fuck up Bayley, and they did. So that's the terrifying aspect of it.
Does anybody have any clue what 5 songs they used to make Emma's theme, by the way? Because it seems like they took like the beginning of Asuka's theme and the singer from Peyton Royce's theme and like all these other kind of elements. It's really annoying. And like something from Street Fighter, maybe. Not a fan.
And I haven't really sat down and listened to Emma's theme. I know it's changed since the old one, but I haven't really taken the time to appreciate it.
It's got some kind of like kind of thing like going in the background and stuff. It's really kind of bullshit. But the Alexa Bliss and Mickie James match, that should be considerably better, I think. And I'm disappointed in this feud. Because Mickie James versus Alexa Bliss was a feud that they should have had a long time ago. And we're finally getting it, and it's about Mickie being old, and it's like very clearly just a placeholder.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what Mickie's self-esteem level's at, because she's been 2 feuds in WWE where she was fat. Well, they treated her as fat, and now they're treating her as old, and she's just going along with it. It just seems like why is she agreeing to this sort of stuff?
And it's weird because
it's a paycheck.
Like, she wasn't fat when she was doing the fat thing, and she's not like old when she's doing the old thing. It's really kind of strange.
So clearly WWE have preconceptions about her, and it's saying, "Oh, you've been around for quite a while. You're wrestling in 2005 or 2006 or whatever, so you're clearly really old." Well, they don't do this with the men, do they?
She's what, 37 or 38? 38,
yeah.
And it's like some of the other women are like 35 or something. I think
it's just a double it's the double standard to me. That, I mean, I don't mind the feud. I think the idea is actually okay, but it's the fact that they never do it for the men. Like when it's like Kane's come back for this thing, he's 50 years old. They haven't really brought that up, have they? So
right. Alexa's 26, Alicia Fox is 31,
Sasha Banks is 25,
Asuka's 36.
Yeah, Asuka's
yes.
So that's
Asuka's one of the oldest women on the roster. Tamina's in her 40s, I think now.
Really?
Yeah. She's at least 39. She's definitely older than Mickie.
Yeah, she's
39. Yeah.
Huh.
They don't mention that.
Nah. Well, they probably would just like not pay any attention to Tamina the way that they normally do. But I'm at least interested to see what Mickie pulls out. I think that she doesn't get anywhere near as much credit as she should. And fan of her, fan of Alexa. Alexa's clearly going to win because there's no way Mickie James wins this title.
You don't think there's possibility of, well, like you've been saying, with the quick title reigns, they just give Mickie this title for a month or so and then give it back to Alexa?
In this scenario, I don't think so. I think that this is just going to be Alexa winning. And then Alexa talks about, like, yeah, of course I won because you're old and whatever. And then I think Asuka goes straight into the title picture.
Oh, I see Asuka's thing being dragged out quite a bit longer. I think she won't be challenging for the title until WrestleMania, in my mind.
It's a possibility.
Which is why I'm going to go for the bold prediction of saying that Mickie James wins this match.
If Mickie James wins this match, it would make her a 6-time champion, which is tied only with Trish Stratus.
Technically, they'd class it as her being a 7-time champion because she also has a Divas Championship reign as well.
That doesn't count.
I mean, she's saying that she wants to become a 7-time champion and match Trish's thing, so they're technically going on that line.
Yep.
I mean, it'd be interesting if they would have Mickie James match Trish Stratus's record, because I imagine that it was going to be Charlotte that would break that record. So maybe that's something else to consider.
Well, if they have her beat the record, Charlotte will still probably beat it anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
Charlotte will be some 20-time champion.
Yeah. I mean, she'd only ever match the record. I think if she was to win the title between now and her retirement, she'd only win it the once. Is
Charlotte at 4 or at 5? She's a 5, isn't she?
She's a 4-time women's champion and a 1-time Divas champion.
Well, do they technically classify that differently? Because that's when they transition the Divas into the women's. It might still be the same reign.
I think
that's the same one.
Yeah, but I think they classify it differently just because it's the end of one championship and the start of a new one. So I think she's technically known as the last Divas champion and the first women's champion, of this kind of women's title.
God damn, Charlotte. Been in the company for how many years now, and you're already at the top?
I mean, either way, she's going to break the record regardless, so it doesn't really matter if she breaks it by 1 or she breaks it by 5. So
yeah, that's true. Well, that brings us to our main event, which is the entire selling point of the whole card. First, the titular selling point, because it's the TLC match for some goddamn reason, and also because
the only match
they basically brought this out as, what do we do for TLC? I don't know, Shield returns? All right, good. What else should we do? Don't worry about that. Even their opponents, we got The Miz, Braun Strowman, The Bar, and Kane. There's no cohesion on this whatsoever.
Nope.
No, this is the biggest clusterfuck match I think I've ever bore witness to.
That's exactly the same word I was going to use to describe it.
It just makes no sense. I mean, at least with some these huge multi-man matches, there's at least some coherence to it. And then this side, it's one side is the Shield, and I thought, okay, the Shield versus the Miz and the Bar at TLC, that makes perfect sense. Then they add Braun Strowman to it because they clearly don't have anything for Braun to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they decide to add Kane to it as well. Isn't Braun enough? Can't you just make it 3-on-4? Why does it have to be 3-on-5?
Yeah, I thought it made more sense when it was the Miz and the Bar, because they have the tag team history there, and Roman versus Miz kind of feud going on. So yeah, adding the others doesn't really make much sense other than to put the Shield even more over.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing about this is that the Shield is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if it was 3-on-3, it wouldn't be so bad. Even though obviously Miz is Intercontinental Champion, that it would lead to maybe Reigns and Miz feuding for the IC title for a little while. So that's fine. But then you're going to have Braun Strowman lose and Kane lose on his return. I mean, either that or you have the Shield lose their first match since reuniting, and either way, they're kind of screwing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not 100% sold that they're going to win, because I do think that you got a 5-on-3, and 2 of those people are Strowman and Kane. If it was Miz in the Bar, guaranteed Shield wins. No question whatsoever. But the addition of Kane, more than anything, has me kind of thinking that maybe the Shield's going to lose. And they're going to continue this a little bit going forward with some other kind of separation. And the Shield will be kind of loosely connected, but not necessarily still teaming up anymore. I think that it might be just a temporary, we have nothing for TLC. If we pull out this random thing of the Shield returning, that's our trump card. and we don't have to really capitalize on it too much. We don't have to really continue it all that much. This is kind of how I can see things going down. They haven't said yet why Kane is involved, but you'd have to assume it's because of The Undertaker. And I know that some people are going, oh, this is going to set up a thing with The Undertaker and Survivor Series and whatever. I don't necessarily think so. But I do think we're going to get Roman Reigns versus Kane at Survivor Series. And I think the best way to do that is to have the Shield lose and for Roman Reigns to beat Kane at Survivor Series separately. So I think we're going to get, we know we're going to get Jinder Mahal versus Brock Lesnar. That's a guarantee. We know more than likely we're probably going to get the 3 Raw versus SmackDown elimination matches. Probably a Cruiserweight title match. I'm thinking Kalisto has his rematch after losing the belt. And we still have enough room for a couple other matches. So Reigns, Kane, and some
Finn
other
Balor
kind of
versus Bray Wyatt
thing.
Yeah, Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Please no.
Probably.
But I think that we could see that happening, and Strowman moves on to something else, and The Miz moves on to something else, and the Bar moves on to something else, and whatever like that. But I don't think we're going to see the Shield team up anymore. And I think either at WrestleMania or before WrestleMania, we're going to see Dean Ambrose turn on Seth Rollins.
I would guess at the Rumble.
Yeah, I can see that definitely happening. I can almost see it happening on this show. Maybe as just another way of making it seem like, oh, the Shield would have won, but actually ended up losing.
That's
Maybe it's
an idea
soon.
I was toying with too.
The reason
we know that's what's going to happen, I think. But
the reason I don't think it's happening here is because they're holding those tag titles. What do they do if they split up?
Exactly. That was the one thing that I was thinking. So
it hasn't stopped them before. They've split teams up when they've had titles before. I mean, remember back in like 2004 when Chris Benoit and Edge had the tag titles, and Chris Benoit started defend. Well, they did that, and Chris Benoit Edge turned on Benoit, and then Benoit started defending the title on his own. He actually won quite a few matches on his own as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just did something along those lines. It definitely wouldn't shock me, but it's probably too soon at the moment. I think they'll probably drop the titles before that.
I'm thinking December or January.
Yeah,
and
it makes sense.
It kind of depends on who they want to drop it to, because if Scott Dawson is healed up in time, I think that the Revival are the best options.
Yep.
But it could be the Good Brothers. Or hell, for that matter, it could be Authors of Pain. It's not going to be Heath Slater and Rhino. That's for sure. And I don't think it's going to be the Bar.
No,
I don't think they can really continue that going forward.
No, I think the Bar and should probably be heading towards split themselves down the line. I think they've kind of run their course as a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to see them both be single stars on separate brands instead. But in terms of this match, how many over under 6 or something like that? How many table crashes are we going to see?
Under.
I'm going to say under. I'm going to guess 4. 3 or 4.
I'm going to go with Miz, and I'm going to go 2. I'm going to say they put somebody like Miz through it, and it's just kind of like whatever happens, but that they also put Strowman through one, and that's how they write him out of the match, kind of.
Mm-hmm. And I could also see them doing, I don't know if we're counting actual table spots or tables, because sometimes they'll stack them on top of each other. So I could see them doing that with Strowman or something. Put them through 2 tables simultaneously.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking there's going to be a 4-table spot, and that's what I was going to say about 7 or something like that.
Well, if you go with that, I'm thinking spots. Yeah, I think that they need to take Strowman out of the match, but I think that, you know what? I'm going to go with the Shield losing. Yeah.
I could see that. I haven't decided officially, so I'll wait until it appears in our chat group to make my official prediction. But right now, I'm kind of leaning towards what you're saying. You're kind of selling me on that, Tony.
My gut instincts to think the Shield are going to win. And I don't know how they're going to do it, whether it's something along the lines of say Strowman and Kane start fighting for some reason and take themselves out of the match or whatever. But
you know what ends up happening? They make it a 5-on-5. You get the 2 other members of the Shield that were rumored back in the day. CM Punk and Cassius Ohno come back. Yeah, right.
Sounds about right. Yeah. That would be the only thing to make... That would be the only way of making this match even more, like, bizarre than it already is.
Yeah. Or maybe instead of the bar, they actually have, like, a bar.
Yeah. Just Braun Strowman carries it to the ring.
Yeah,
just
like
a full match.
Like a gold bar or something like that. Or instead of a TLC match, it's a bar match. A bar brawl or something.
Oh, also, I was going to ask,
sense.
How long do you think this match is going to go? Because I'm guessing it's going to go about, I'm thinking about 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, this is going to be a good chunk of the pay-per-view. I would not be surprised at all if this started at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, especially if Marcus Bagwell and Scotty Briggs get involved as well.
Was that the garbage match on Wikipedia, or was that the
No,
Balor?
that was the Balor Wyatt match. Was a garbage match.
I love these people.
American males were part of the main event.
I love these people doing those kind of things. Yeah, if you have no idea what we're talking about, somebody edited the Wikipedia page, and it's pretty funny. So check it out while you can. Who knows
it's
what
back
it
now?
says.
They already changed it.
Oh.
I would have been more excited for the American males and the garbage match and all that.
You know, we're not encouraging you to go and vandalize Wikipedia, but if you do, we might laugh.
Let's put it this way. Smark Out Moment does not endorse the vandalization of any kind of a website, but if it happens and you send us the link, then it might create some kind of content that's fun. We endorse laughing at vandalism that's already happened. All right, so yeah, that's TLC. Not looking forward to doing this coverage. Not looking forward to doing a post show and multiple articles and everything based off of this, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And hopefully they'll build up enough good karma that they need to cash in on, sort of, that Survivor Series doesn't follow the suit, because I can't imagine this being a good pay-per-view. But you never know. There have been shitty cards in the past that ended up turning out good. And there's been good cards that ended up turning out bad. So, yes, you gotta hope a little bit. Just not get your hopes up too much.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to follow everything that's going on, check out smarkoutmoment.com. That'll be the live coverage on there and my highlights and low points thing on Bleacher Report. And of course, as I mentioned before, the next video is going to be the post show for TLC. So hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And that's way you can get notified when we do post that up. Follow me all over the place. Follow these two guys. Callum, you're up first.
Okay, well, you can follow me on Twitter at Wigmeister14 and check out all of the weekly content that goes on Smark Out Moment. If you're not looking forward to this pay-per-view, guess what? A lot of us aren't as well, so we're just going to rant about it on the website, so you can listen to our see our rants in written form as opposed to the listening version, which is right now.
And Kaylin?
You can follow me to the grocery store where I'm going to buy some chicken for dinner. And you can also check out Northwest Ohio Wrestling on Facebook. We got a show coming up October 28th. That's Saturday night. It's our Halloween bash. A lot of us are going to be in costume, and it's going to be a good time. And if you wear a costume to the event, you can win money for part of our costume contest and get in at a reduced rate. It's going to be a good, fun time. Northwest Ohio Wrestling.
Visit them now.
Do it.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode, everybody. Tell us what you think of TLC and the predictions and all that other kind of stuff in the comments below, and we will see you next time. This has been another Smark Out Moment, and we're being counted out.